Ohineben Sports 84. Back in the building. Gilberto Ramirez is in the news. Fresh from coming off his victory against Jesse Hart, an unbeaten fighter. He's feeling really confident and he's calling out the other champions in the division, namely James DeGale and Chris Eubank Jr. The IBO. Chris Eubank Jr. is the IBO champion, and James DeGale, which champion is he? Yeah, is it the BBC or the BBA? I'm not too sure. He feels he has what it takes to beat these fighters. Let me check real quick. Which title does James DeGale have? IBF. James DeGale is the IBF super middleweight title holder. His last fight was against Badu Jack. A fight that a lot of pundits thought James DeGale lost, but was called a draw. He ended the fight with some missing teeth. It wasn't a pleasant sight to watch, but he was able to not get a dent on his record because he already has a loss on his record. I think he lost against, is it Cleverly? Yeah, he lost against Cleverly in the past. So he already has a loss on his record. Same as Chris Eubank Jr., who lost against Billy Joe Saunders of all people. So Gilberto Ramirez is calling out these fighters, and he has to be applauded because he wants to unify. He's not looking for any easy fights. He's willing to test himself against the top fighters in the division, the champions. My takeaways from his fight against Jesse Hart was Gilberto Ramirez. I haven't really watched any of his fight. I've been watching highlights here and there. I've not really watched a full-fledged fight of his. And this is the first time I was able to watch one. And I wasn't that impressed with Gilberto Ramirez. I was rather disappointed in Jesse Hart, who didn't have anything whatsoever. He was scared to death of getting knocked out. So he didn't fight like I was expecting him to. That gave Gilberto Ramirez the upper hand in the fight. What I saw was that Gilberto Ramirez, he didn't really throw enough punches unless his opponent was stationary, unless he gets the opponent at a particular position to fight him. Oftentimes, Jesse Hart will be moving around and Gilberto Ramirez wouldn't be doing much. It's only when Jesse Hart stands still and on the ropes, that's when Gilberto Ramirez starts to get to work. That's how he starts to get his momentum going. That's when he starts to really do some damage. But when Jesse Hart is on the move, he's not really this thing. He doesn't throw enough punches then. He needs his opponents in a stationary position in order to throw his shots. And if you fight like that against Chris Eubank Jr. or James DeGale, who are both excellent fighters on the back foot, especially James DeGale, I'm not too sure how much of a progress this guy is going to make. I'm not too sure. I don't fancy this guy's chances against either fighters. I'm not too sure. As for him getting knocked out, I don't think he will get knocked out by either fighter, especially against Chris Eubank Jr. because he has the ability to knock his opponent out. I'm not too sure about James DeGale. But he displayed in the Jesse Hart fight like he has a solid chin because he ate up a lot of uppercuts in that fight. And Jesse Hart is known to be a powerful puncher. So the upside in the fight was that he had a solid chin. But in terms of his boxing skills, I'm not too sure he'll be able to beat either fighters. Styles make fights, so on the day of the fight, he must show something different. But if you had to pick a side in his fight against either of these fighters, I'll have to go against him because I wasn't that impressed in his victory against Jesse Hart. I wasn't that impressed at all. but to make up for a good fight. Chris Eubank is currently engaged in a tournament. I think he has a fight coming up less than a week or so, just over a week from now. I'm not too sure what James DeGale has in store for himself. So he hasn't been in the ring since his draw against Badu Jack. So I think he's probably available for a fight. But James DeGale is not that type of fighter who calls out a lot of fighters. I've not known him to be just a fighter who is really hungry to get into the ring after a fight, who is willing to fight multiple times in a year. He doesn't strike me as that sort of guy. So I'm not sure how viable his fight against, how viable calling out DeGale will work out, because that guy, I'm not too sure of his attitude, his approach to fighting. Chris Eubank would have taken it, but he's currently engaged, so that is not a possibility at any point in time. But I don't think he's capable of beating either of these fighters. Those are my thoughts on it. If you like the commentary, subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Thank you for your time, and catch you on the next one. Bye for now.